going back to the Geneva Agreement from a month ago and saying, here are the clear goalposts that we set for each other and that we're going to try to meet going forward. And then setting the stage for future rounds of talks, that they have enough in common and the tone in the room is good. Remember, these are two sides that sat together a month ago and came away and didn't really understand what they had agreed to. So here we are again. They just started the discussions a couple of hours ago here in London. It's expected to go well into the early evening, maybe even into Tuesday if they get hung up tonight. So the real goal here is to reestablish the framework for some talks. We're 2 months from the end of the 90-day reprieve that both sides agreed to when they brought their tariffs down. So time is ticking, and these are complicated talks, and they're not going to be done in just a few meetings. So the real goal here is momentum and maintaining the forward momentum.
I don't know. My strategy would be just walking down to the local pub, have a couple of pints, work this thing out. I mean, how tough can it be? Brendan, where are we on tariffs here? I can't keep track of where we are on tariffs. Could you just remind us kind of what the current status is?
Yeah, so part of that 90-day reprieve was to bring the very high tariffs down, 145% on Chinese imports into the U.S., extremely high tariffs for U.S. goods going to China. They brought those down. The U.S. is at about 30% on Chinese goods now. China brought theirs down to 10. So those are by no means low tariffs. Those are still having an effect. They're diminishing the share of trade that's moving between the two countries. So tariffs are going to be there for a while. Those aren't the kinds of things you start taking off this early in a negotiation. Those are leverage that you take off later on down the road once you can accomplish some of the other things that you accomplish. And for the moment, the U.S. is focused on seeing those rare earth elements, those key magnets and other things that are needed to make batteries and high-tech medical equipment start flowing back to the U.S. so American companies don't have to shut down their production lines. And China wants some of the export restrictions that the U.S. put on its high-tech exports to China, some of those lifted. It seems like the two sides came into these talks willing to give up some of those. So we'll have to wait and see where it goes from here. But we're expecting that they'll come away from these discussions with some sort of basis to continue the negotiations on a whole host of other things. Tariffs, like I said, not going to be addressed today. Those are further down the road.